go over what's in the kit. So first you'll have instructions. We have 2 sets of dies. One is the Slimline Collection Decorative Heart Aperture Trio. The next die is a 4-piece, I believe it's 4-piece die, and it's the stitched rectangle frames. This one you'll use over and over again. It's a great one to have on hand. It saves you from trimming and cutting all the time. It's easy to make layers, and it has that nice stitch detail. You should have also gotten a piece of a strip of the Be Creative sheet. It's a double-sided sticky sheet. The pink cardstock. 2 sheets of white cardstock. Everybody's favorite sticky specs. A full sheet of foam tabs. This will last you for a long time. This one is the 2 mil, 5 by 5 mil, 2 millimeters thick. And you can use these for everything to add that a little bit of extra dimension to your cards. And as well, you get a package of 2 glitters. I'll just show you the ones that I have open. There's a pink sparkle shimmer shaker and a biodegradable glitter. And these are 2 different types of glitter. One is, they're both loose glitter. The biodegradable glitter, this one in particular, has different sizes of flakes in it. And this is more like a very fine glitter that you can use for more coverage, and it gives like that silk texture. So those are the 2 glitters that we'll be applying to our card today. So hopefully you have everything in front of you for the to make this card. I'm going to go to the overhead so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so first of all, we're going to start with one of the white cardstocks. We're going to cut it 8 by 8.5. So I'm just going to go and cut this right behind me. And if you have, if you're crafting along with me, you can go ahead and cut yours 8 by 8.5. So that's my card. I'm going to just grab my scoreboard here. This is from Hunky Dory, the adorable scoreboard. I'm sure if you have one as well, you'll be able to score your cardstock. So what we're going to do is line it up so that you're on the 8-inch across the top, and we're going to score at the 4. So just score right down the middle. Now this is very thick cardstock, and sometimes it may tend to crack, especially when the weather is really dry. So I'm just going to spray a little bit of water on my craft mat. And I just take my finger, dab it in the water, and as I'm folding it, I rub the edge with the water. And this loosens up the fibers and helps prevent your cardstock from cracking. So I'm just going to do that quickly, and I'll move my scoreboard, or scoreboard. Okay, so now that we have that, we'll also cut a piece of the other second piece of the white cardstock. We'll cut it 4 by 8.5 inches. So you can go ahead and do that now. And this is going to be used on the for the aperture. What did I say? 4 by 8.5? Yeah, 4 by 8. So if I cut it right, then it should line up with the front of the card, which it does. Good. Okay, so. And now we'll cut the piece of pink cardstock 4 by 8.5. And that should line up as well, just to make sure it does. Okay, so now the piece of white cardstock that was left over. Okay, yeah, this is the one, actually. White cardstock, we're going to cut a frame out first. I'm just following the instructions and we're going to cut the frame. So the outer frame is the white one. I'll just show you on the card, this thin frame here. So you're just going to line it up on the cardstock. And you're going to use your die cutting machine. Sorry, I'm off camera, but I'm just going to quickly die cut it. And if you have any questions, Corey is in the room with me. He's behind the cameras and he's at the computer answering questions. So if you have any questions, just you can type it in the chat and he will ask me or he'll answer if he can. And if you need to see something again, he can go ahead and ask me. So then that's the outer frame. And now we're going to cut the inner frame. So using the second smallest die in your rectangles, we're going to cut the pink cardstock. So you're going to line it up in the center like that. So I'll just go ahead and die cut mine while you're getting yours cut. And just make sure it's in the center fairly well because there's not a lot of room around the hearts. Okay. So there, cut that piece. So this will go on the front and then the white thinner frame is going to go on top of that after we're done. For the pink, it's the second smallest. So this is or second largest, I should say. So this is the frames that you got in your die set. So the one for the pink is going to be the second largest frame. And the one for the white was this one. Okay. Now using the piece, the centerpiece that you cut from the white frame, when you cut it, it will have released this piece. This piece you're going to use to cut the heart. If you need me to slow down, just let me know or let Corey know. So this is the heart aperture. So what it does is it cuts out the hearts, but it won't cut around it. So that's going to make the open part of the heart cards. So there you just line it up in that center piece of the white, and then you're going to cut it with your cutting machine. So hopefully that all makes sense. Now I'm using the Press Boss, Nellie Choice's cutting machine, but we also sell the Go Power machine from Couture. That's a really good one as well to use. So this is after I've cut it, you're going to have the aperture heart, the 3 apertures in the white cardstock, and it will release the 3 white hearts from it. We can use those at a different time. So right now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to poke out all the little pieces around the heart, because you want it open so that you'll see the glitter through it. And this might just take a few minutes, but it's actually, you know, they're pretty good. Like if you had a brush, you might be able to get this out quicker. So this is a nice die to use for Valentine's Day, but if you'll notice inside of the dies, at the packaging, I'll just show you, it opens up and you can see all the different uses, some card samples with using the same die. And there's one on here for like a wedding, which I thought was nice. But it could be a wedding or Valentine's Day or anniversary, any type of card like that. So we'll just keep poking out the little pieces. They're like confetti that come out of here. So, and I hope you all are available to join us for the next 2 classes that are coming up January 27th and February 3rd. They're also Valentine themed cards, but again, you can use the dies many different ways. At this time of year, we thought it would be appropriate to do some Valentine's cards. And I believe we're going to keep running these classes for the next foreseeable future. So after these 3, we are going to have another instructor that will come and teach some classes as well. So just keep your eyes open on the newsletters and the website to find out about any future classes. Okay, so now you should have the little pieces cut out and everything's all cleaned up, ready to go. Okay. So I will just wait till you guys get caught up on that. Just the white cardstock from the center. When we trimmed the white piece to this to fit the front of the card, it was 8.5 by 4. So when we die cut it with the largest die, the center piece that fell out, that's what we used to cut the hearts. So while I'm waiting for people to get caught up, I'll just show you that the next step is going to be, we're going to add the tape. But before we add it to the front of the card, we're going to just trim it. We want it trimmed just a little bit smaller than the side of the card. And you want to line it up so that you make sure that the tape has coverage inside of the hearts. So I think if I'm okay to go ahead and do that, I'll measure it and just let you know how much I cut off. Well, we know that the card is 8.5, so I think I'll cut it down to 8 inches. And that should be fine for the center of the card. So this is double-sided tape. So peel off the one backing. Keep the backing though, because we're going to use that. And then you'll just center the tape to the center of the front of the cardstock. So this piece of cardstock, that's your card base. So you're adding the entire piece of tape that we've trimmed to the cardstock. And then next, we're going to be adding the heart to the center. So if we're okay to keep going, I'm going to peel off the top so that it reveals the sticky tape. And then you just have to be very careful. You might want to open the card up and place it, center it as best you can. You might even want to just visually make sure that it's lined up. And I'm going to just place it down and there, oh, of course I go crooked. It's not stuck yet though. So I will just place it as best I can in the center. And that worked out pretty good. You have a little room to play with, so it's not bad. And then I'm just going to push down. Now, what I'll do is I'll take the remainder of the sheet that was on the tape to protect it. Just going to take that and just push around the hearts just so that the paper is sticking to the hearts, because we're going to apply the glitter and I don't want it going under the paper. So once you've got that all smoothed out, next step, protect the other two hearts with your piece of tape cover, the plastic, just so we're not getting the different glitter, because I want the center glitter heart to be just the fine glitter, and these two are the glitter, the biodegradable glitter. So just to protect it, I'm going to put the top over it. Actually, I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper here just to catch the glitter so I can put it back in the jar. And now you're going to just pour some of the glitter, the larger flake glitter, onto the first heart. And you can just rub it on with your finger just to make sure that it gets into the tape. And once you've rubbed it around, don't remove the top yet, just shake off the extra glitter and even give it a little bit of a rub just to get everything off. If you have a little brush, you can brush it off. It's okay if it gets on the side here because you're not going to see it, but we just want to make sure there's lots of coverage on the front. And then you can take your scrap paper and pour the glitter back into the jar. Okay, and then I'm going to set the large flake glitter aside, and I'm going to grab the shimmer sparkle shaker. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to reveal the middle one yet, still staying on the first heart. Now these shakers have a little like a salt and pepper shaker style. I'm going to actually pour this on top of the glitter that we just applied, only because the large flake glitter, especially if you're using a white paper background, sometimes you can still see the white background behind it. And it's fine if you want to leave it like that, but I like to have a full coverage on my glitter. So I'm just going to add that. It coordinates with it so that it will make it look more of a full coverage. The fine glitter fills in all those little extra spaces, and you can still see the large flake glitter as well. So that's a little tip for those. Now this glitter, I'm going to use it again on the next card. So I'm just going to put it on my scrap paper on the next heart. I mean, this third heart, not the second heart. So I'll just scrape some of it off. I'll get a little baby wipe here just to clean it up. Okay. And so now go back to your card and take off the top protective sheet and place it on the third heart. And so the middle heart, we're now going to apply just the sparkle shaker. Dumping it on top. spread it around with your finger. And once you have enough coverage, now this will cover very easily, so it won't take too much to get it on. And then I'm going to shake it off. And that's the second heart. Get a little brush to brush this off. Just to clean up some of those. We can clean it up later, but I just wanted to get a little bit more off. Okay, so now you're going to reveal the third heart. And then this one, you're going to start again with your biodegradable glitter, the large chunky glitter. And you're going to put some onto the heart. Rub it around with your finger. And just make sure you press it into the tape so that it's all sticking to the tape. Get another piece of scrap paper and shake it off. And now pour the excess glitter that you have on your scrap sheet back into the jar. And now I'm going to take the glitter that I saved from the other hearts and put it on top again, just to any white that's showing through the fine glitter will stick to it. Okay. So now those are the three hearts that are, the tape has been all sealed with the glitter. And so now it's okay to just try and get the glitter off the rest of the card if you have a little soft brush, but sometimes just a good tapping or, flick it with your finger should take it off, or blow on it. Be cleaned up later too. Soft Kleenex will do as well. Okay, so that is all cleaned up. And I'll get rid of my garbage. Okay, so now the next part is just the easy part, really, just applying the two layers to the top of the card. So we're going to start with the pink layer, and I want it to be raised up a little bit. So I'm going to use the foam tabs that were included in your kit. So you just flip it over and you can apply the foam tabs to the card, to the pink frame. You don't need too many, but you'll want enough that you don't see any like dips in the paper when you apply it. Because this frame is a little bit thicker, then you can also apply some tabs along the inside edge just to keep it like up straight so it doesn't bend in the middle. Especially if you're mailing it, you want to make sure that it stays flat. So I'll just put a few in towards the edges. If you have foam strips, sometimes those are easier to use on the frames. And I'm using a pokey tool to pick it up easier off of the foam backing. So I hope you're all able to keep up. If you need any extra time, just let Corey know. Or if you have any questions. So a lot of foam tabs, but we're getting there. Oh, okay. I can go back over how the frames were cut. I'll take a break from that. I've finished putting the foam on it, but I will set that aside just to again show you. So if you have this set of frames, it should have come in the kit. But if you are watching and you haven't purchased the kit, this is CED 1251. So what we did was we cut a piece of white paper to the size of the frame of the card, the base of the card. I should have a piece here. So we cut a piece of white paper. I think it's 8.5 by 4. So this piece of paper that you cut 8.5 by 4, you're going to take which frame is it? The white or the pink frame? She's wondering. Or both? Oh, all the frames. Okay. So the white frame, you're going to use the largest die. You'll center it to your piece of white cardstock and die cut it. When you die cut it, it will make a frame like this, as well as an inside piece will fall through. And that's what we used to cut the hearts out of. See, as you can see, there's stitching around here. This was the center. This was this part of it. And the frame was cut away to make the white thin frame. Does that make sense? We're good with that? And then the pink frame, we cut the piece of pink paper, same size, 8.5 by 4. But instead of the largest frame, you're going to use the second largest frame. And you're going to cut so that the inside is a wider frame. And that way, when you put the two frames together, you have an inside pink frame showing through and the white outer frame kind of finishing it off. So it looks like that.
Her center did not cut through. Do I need a shim?
Yeah, it depends on which machine you're using. The Nelly Press Boss Pro has an adjustment so you can make it tighter if it's not cutting. There should be no problems cutting. If you do have a machine that requires shims, then yes, you might have to add like a piece of thick cardstock, or if you have a metal shim to use with it, that helps cutting. Just make sure that the cutting edge is down on your cutting plate. So if you are new to crafting and you need just a little bit more information, usually the white plate is your cutting base. And so you'll put your cutting die face down, put the paper on first, and then the cutting die face down. And that gives you a good cut. Sometimes with some machines, if you are cutting it against the clear plate, it doesn't give you as good of a cut. So on this machine anyways, you don't want to cut it on the clear plate. You want to cut it on the white plate. Some machines like the Go Power, it's the reverse. The cutting plate is actually on top. So you would flip your plate over, I believe. Yeah. Yes. Oh, did some people not get them? Are they on the website, the instructions? Oh, okay. If you didn't get instructions, don't worry. We will put it on the website under like where the card classes are, under inspiration, virtual classes, and then you'll find this card. I believe we can put a link on, right, Corey, to the instructions? Or if
the person who did not have it send me her email, I'm going to try it. Do we
okay.
have it in Google Docs?
Yes.
Okay.
So we do have the instructions. What we can do also is everybody who has purchased the kit, we will send them the instructions as well. We can email it directly to them. And otherwise we can put the instructions right on the website where the virtual class is, because we definitely want you to have those instructions. Yeah, we'll find a way. And if for some strange reason we don't get it to you either of those ways, definitely just email us or let us know and we will definitely get it to you. So now I'm just going to peel all the little pieces off these white foam tabs. I can do it in front of you, but I was doing it in the garbage, so I can do it in front of you. So again, this is probably would be quicker if you had foam strips, which we do sell through Hunky Dory. They look like this, and they come in strips, and then you only have to peel off the one backing. They are, if you search under foam tea, they should come up. Otherwise, they're under the brand Hunky Dory, and there's different sizes, there's strips, and there's also the square pads. There's different thicknesses. So sometimes you like to have a thicker foam pad for usually if you just have like one layer that you really want to pop out. Sometimes you want to have the thinner foam pads like these, because if you have multiple layers, it'll get too thick with the thick foam pads. So it's nice to have different sizes available. We also have, I believe on the website, we have, these square ones in black, which is handy to have as well when you're making a card on a dark colored cardstock and you don't want the white to show through. The black can be used. Okay, I think I got them all off. I feel sticky, so just clean this up. So now once you've placed all your little tabs on the pink frame and peeled off the backing, so they all should be sticky, you're going to line it up to the center again of the card base and just attach it. And that's all there is to that layer. So now we have the glitter hearts at the back, we have the pink layer inside. So the next step is going to be adding the thin white frame. And that's going to go around the pink. So it'll look like that now, and then we're going to add the white. So again, we'll go ahead. Now this one, you only really need the one layer. You don't need to stagger them. And probably don't need as many. So I just do 4 across the short end, and I'll probably do 6 across the long end. But some people like more. It's up to you. If I see a big gap, I might add an extra one. Okay, so a couple more, and then I'll peel the backing off of these. So we want this to be nice and relaxing for you. I'm not going to rush. I'm just taking our time. So I know that there will be some people who are beginners and some people who have already made lots of cards, who have a lot of knowledge anyways, but just want to craft along with us. So let us know. Like I said, Corey is here with me. So let us know if the pace is too quick. You kind of forget sometimes that when you've made this card a few times that, you can go through it pretty quick. But if you haven't made it before, you might need a little bit more time. And that's why the instructions are handy to have, because if you don't get through it today, you can always follow the instructions at your own pace. So now I'm going to just line up the frame with the outside. And because it is thin, you can, it's a little bit easy to pull to make sure that it's even. So there's the card. Now this is the card. This is done for the kit. If you purchase just the kit, this is finished. Also on the website, when you purchase the kit, there were also some other items that you could purchase. There was the set of 3 sentiments. Now I know this set of 3 is currently sold out. Once we get, I think we're out of one of these dies. And so once we get more in, we'll build more sets. But you can use any real sentiment that you want. It doesn't have to be these ones, but these ones are from Creative Expressions. And they're the Hugs and Kisses, Happy Valentine's Day, and Follow Your Heart. So if you've purchased if you've purchased this bundle, I'm going to add the sentiment Happy Valentine's Day. Yeah, I think I'll add the Happy Valentine's Day to the card. So if you haven't purchased, you can still follow along and watch, and maybe, you might want to see how to do this and then purchase it later. That's always an option. So the Happy Valentine's Day sentiment, I'm going to cut out of pink, but I'm also going to cut out, if you have scrap of white. So I want to cut it twice, once on pink, once on white, and then we're going to shadow it so that it's a little offset. I can show you here. This is one that I've done that has the white on top and the pink shadow behind it. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to just leave you to get caught up while I cut the sentiment out. Now, oh, I should show you, actually, I was going to show you before I did this. These sentiment dies are very thin. Like I'll show you here, especially like this part here. If it gets stuck in your die, you can get it out, but it might take you using this tool. So I'm going to use it with this paper. This is from Couture Creations. We just got it in. We had it in a few years ago, sold out. It was really well received, but then the supplier had issues getting it back in. So we just got it back in. It's Couture Creations die release paper, I believe it's called. Corey can put that in the chat box if you need a link to it. So what it does is when I cut, I'm going to put my paper down, then I'm going to put the release paper, and then the sentiment die, and I'm going to run it through my machine like that, because the paper has like a waxy film on it, and it will not the paper won't get stuck in the die. And this paper is actually so good that sometimes it'll stay in the die and you can just use it over and over again. So I'm going to do that right now and cut it, and I'll show you how it releases. Now you can use wax paper. Some people use wax paper, but I find the wax paper gums up your die after a while. I think people have different tips and tricks you can use, but this one is it's very easy to use. It's a nice thin paper, and it just releases really easily. See, so these normally would get really stuck in your die, but this paper has made it so that it doesn't stick in the die. The wax paper, the release paper, stays in your die, and that helps the cardstock to release easier. Now, see, this one stayed in my die. So if I wanted to cut it a second time, which I am with the white, it should do the same thing. It will cut it and release the cardstock from it without sticking in the die. So I will go and I'll cut the white one. Okay, so again, I just poke out the sentiment. And this one, you don't have to poke it out too much. Like you just get a little bit of it started, and you should be able to just pull it away. they're very fine, very delicate. So you just want to be very careful. So then I will put my scraps away. I'm going to clean up a bit so that when I come back on, you don't see what a mess I have behind the scenes. So clean up a little bit here. And now I'm going to just poke out all the little pieces that stayed. And there's the pink Happy Valentine's Day. And now I'm going to do the white. Now you could just use the pink if you wanted. The white I don't think would really show up on this card if you just use the one layer. But the pink would show up fine against the card. Or if you have a different color cardstock, it would show up fine. But I'm going to just show you how I do the shadowed. Now you can use the sticky specs or you can use glue. I'm just going to tell you that sometimes when I do this with sticky specs, it's hard for me to line it up. But the sticky specs work so well because of it being such a fine dye that I like to use sticky specs. Now you'll have a new sheet of sticky specs in your package. But again, a trick with the sticky specs is the little specks, little dots of glue that are on here. They're so microscopic, like so small that the paper will pick it up, but it'll also leave a lot behind. So you can reuse your sticky specs over and over again. With the brand new sheet, I find these dyes are, they're so fine that it's harder to get it off a brand new sheet. So what I like to do, use the brand new sheet for putting like a large, like you could have used the frame to use the sticky specs, and that will leave less sticky specs on your sheet that will actually work better on these little fine intricate dies. So I have this sheet that I have used a few times, and I'm going to use this one. And if you're afraid of it peeling off or not coming off on you easily, just use a piece of scrap paper on the new one on just an edge and a corner of your sticky specs, and just get some of those dots off, because it is very sticky. And you don't, when you're peeling it up, you don't want to tear it off. But once you get it off, then it acts like a sticker. And then all you have to do is line it up, but offset it. See, I'm going to show you closer. I'm not putting it right on top of the pink. I'm kind of leaving part of the pink showing through. And then you just do the same with all of the letters in the Happy Valentine's Day. You just kind of push them around. And the other good thing with sticky specs is you can pull up. It doesn't stick it permanently right away. You can lift it up and move stuff around, and it won't be permanent until it has set for a few hours, I would say. Once it's set for a few hours, it's set, then you'll start, ripping your paper if you try to move it. But for the first little while, you can move it, which is really valuable when you're crafting, because if you don't like the position of something, you can always lift it off and move it around. And so there, that wasn't too bad. I actually am pretty happy with that. So you can see that the pink and the white are just a little peeking through. And that kind of gives it so that when it's on the white, you'll see the pink, so you can still read it fairly easily. And same with when the white or the pink is on the pink, the white will show through. So that kind of I think it just makes it easier for you to read the sentiments when the colors are so close. So that's why I like to use it. So now I'm going to just attach it to the card. You can attach it at the bottom. They've left a little bit of a gap here so that a sentiment would fit nicely in there. And like on this card, I did it up in the corner. I think this one I'm going to just keep it on the bottom because it's a wider sentiment. And now I'm just going to put sticky specks on the bottom half because it is elevated on the frames. The happy part of Happy Valentine's Day won't necessarily need to stick down. So I put Happy and Valentine or Valentine's and Day onto the card, and the rest can just stay up. You can push it down if you like to have it totally stuck. You can do that with the sticky specks, but I'm just going to leave it like that. And so there, that is done with the sentiment on it. Now for the final step, again, this was an additional die that you could have purchased. Not necessary to do this card, but we just wanted to show you as much as we could of the items that we carry. So this is a 16-piece set of dies called Finishing Touches Heart Accessories. And they've made it so that it works with this as well as some others of their dies. And so some of their dies, like the little bow and arrow, you could put up in the corner or you could put on the heart. They have little sentiments like "You're sweet, be mine, miss you, amour, love, and you rock." They fit nicely inside of the hearts as well. But I'm going to do the same as I did for this one. I'm just going to put the white love heart inside of the middle heart, just because it is different. So this is the die. This is all of the dies that come with it, but I'm just going to use this one right now, and I'm going to cut it out of white. So again, I'll use my release paper, if I can find it. Maybe not, because I can't find it. But it's a little, oh, there it is. Little scrap of white with the, and again, the release paper used over and over again, and it doesn't even really necessarily have to cover the entire die. Like this one, it won't get the edges, but that's okay. Most of the die is going to release, so these edges won't matter. So place it again on my cutting side of the machine with the cutting die down. The release paper in between the die and my scrap white paper. Now I'm just going to run it through. Are we doing some time for it? Okay, so I ran it through my cutting machine, and I'll just push it out, and it releases easily. Just take out the little scrap pieces and the pieces that's stuck behind. And this really had no issues cutting this. This is a very easy die to cut, even though it is a little bit intricate. So this one, again, I'm going to use my, oh, I forgot to show you about these. This also cuts out little hearts. They're very tiny, but I've used them. I'll show you coming up. I'll show you how I've used them. But there should be two little tiny hearts that it punches out as well that you can use on your card. But for now, I'm just going to use this, and I'm going to use a little bit of sticky specks. Again, this is one that you're probably going to want to use on a used sheet. Oh, another thing with the sticky specks, in case you don't know, the sheet, the face down is the side that you're going to want to use against the sticky specks. For some reason, the other side, do never put it on the top side of the sheet, of this plastic sheet. It will stick to it. The sticky specks will stick to this top side. Only the bottom side of the sheet goes against the sticky specks. Okay, so now once you have the sticky specks on it, all you do is find the center and push it on. And the sticky specks work very well with glitter. I know sometimes glue or whatever doesn't stick. Sticky specks will. I just wanted to show you too another trick or tip. If you have a little piece like this, maybe it doesn't have any sticky specks on it. All you do is you take your sticky speck sheet, find a little spot that has sticky specks on it, slide your die underneath, pull it off, and then it works. And it's also good for like if you've made a card in the past and you find a little piece that's sticking up, you can do that trick as well. Okay, so that is the final version of this card with all the extra bits on it. So hopefully you've caught up and you have enjoyed making that one. There's lots of different things that you can do with these cards with the dies. I'm going to show you some other examples that I've made with the same dies. So I'll just clean this up a little bit. And I'll grab them. Okay, so this is the one that we just did. This is one that I've done in black, red, and white. Same thing with the Happy Valentines. I have the red over top and the black as a shadow. The same rectangle dies that we used in this card, except I just used for the center. These are the little black hearts that fall out of this die that I showed you, the white one. So I just used them on the corners. And then the accessories, heart accessories die, I've used 3 of those in here. So that's one. Now this one is the 3 dies that have fallen out of your die, like when we cut the circles out, the white that fell through, there's 3 of them. And so what I did was I put the tape on them and cut around them and then added 3 different colors of this shimmer sparkle shaker. So I used this, this is the color that we have, and there's 3 other pinks. So you can use 3 different colors, you can use all 3 of the same color, but it's nice that you already have this cut out. And then the follow your heart die with it, and I just layered it again with the rectangle dies that we have in the kit. It's all been layered with that as well. And the background is Pixie Sparkle powder, which we will be using. I'll show you how to use them on one of the next classes, not the next class, but the class after it. We'll be using Pixie Sparkles. So it was actually just a scrap piece I had laying around. I picked up the Pixie Sparkles off my mat, gave it kind of a grunge look in behind. And so I just used that to make this card. And then this one is another version of the card we made, except I put the Pixie Spark, or the, not the Pixie Sparkles, the Sparkle Shaker glitter. It's all tongue-tied with all these glitters, but I put that on the outside of the card. So I put the tape across the whole piece. Then I cut with the aperture heart, and then so the tape was sticky on the outside, and I added all the glitter to the outside. The center, I just used pink paper, and then I cut out the little accessories in white and the Happy Valentine's Day in white, and just layered it with pink and white cardstock. So those are some more versions of the card that we made using the same dies that you have, okay? And before we go though, I'm just going to show you the next class that's coming up, which is January 27th. So next Thursday, we will be making 2 more cards. This is, so both cards in one class. And the set of dies that you purchase, if you purchase the set of Billy Hart's dies, they're a set on our website. If you purchase this set, you will automatically get a notice for the Zoom link for this class. So these are the cards that we're making with those 2. Now they don't have, there's not a kit per se that you will have everything to make these. So you will need like some pink cardstock and some white cardstock, as well as these little hearts. They're like for shaker cards. But all of this stuff is for making these cards is on our website in the virtual class section. And then this is the B minus, the same as the one that we were just looking at for the heart accessories. So, and the with love stamp, you can use any stamp you have, but if you have a stamp that you want to use, we'll add this tag to it as well. So this is January 27th. So if you want to come to that class as well, hopefully you can make it, and we will do these 2 cards. And then on February 3rd, this is where we're going to use the Pixie Sparkle powders. They have a lot of mica in them. They're very shimmery. And the dye that we're using for this one is another Creative Expressions die. So if you purchase this die, you'll get notification. This is a 4-piece die that we're using to make these 2 cards. In these cards, we also have the Happy Valentine's Day sentiment. So if you purchase those, you'll have them already. You'll need to purchase the Pixie Sparkles. There's a variety of colors. As long as you pick something in the pink variety or reds, it's fine. And we also are using the square set of dies, like they're like the rectangle ones, but they're in a square set. You don't have to though. I mean, well, you probably do for the frames, but you can cut by hand. If you're doing this one, you would just cut it with your cutting machine. But we'll use the Pixie Sparkles so to make the background, and then we'll also use it to cut out these as well. So if you want to learn about those, or you want to come and make the cards that we've made here, that would be on February 3rd. And again, it's under inspiration and I think it's Inspiration Virtual Card Classes.
Correct.
Yep.
I put links in it earlier.
Okay.
I can throw up the link again.
So hopefully you join us. We love having you here and joining us as well. And any information you have or anything that you'd like to see, maybe future class suggestions, then you can let us know. Maybe Corey, if you want to switch me over to the overhead. Okay, so hi. So yeah, if you have any suggestions for upcoming classes, we'd love to hear it. Just you can email us or you can post it on our Facebook page. And just let us know how you're liking these classes. We do have, like I said, another teacher that she will be joining us in February sometime. She'll be doing classes as well. You may have heard her, Marilyn Oskamp. She is a very excellent teacher. I mean, way better than me. And so she would be really good to, she has lots of tips and tricks and knowledge, and her cards are unbelievable. They're so good, like you will love it. So definitely keep your eyes open for that on our newsletters and Facebook and all that kind of stuff on our website and everything. So hopefully you enjoyed this class. Thank you so much for joining me. And I really had a lot of fun. Hopefully you liked it too. Have a great afternoon and take care. Thanks.